Hello once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and the hows of the game. This past Sunday, the 49ers, despite an insane amount of injuries, continued to find ways to win and improve to 6-3 on the year. Yes, the Giants are a team that didn't have many weapons, didn't have a number of guys in the secondary, and were the 32nd ranked run defense coming in. But they're still a team that presented a number of challenges. In the end, the 49ers are now tied for the most wins in the NFC. So let's jump to the film and see how the 49ers were able to get their best offensive performance to date. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. The defense did start out a little shaky, giving up a first drive touchdown. Overall, the defense did do much better in avoiding some busts in coverage, but it was mostly after this play where we have yet another. This is a young team that is learning as they go. But we're coming with a blitz. We've seen it in preseason, we've seen it in the season, and we have both guys coming off the edge. The way this plays out, we end up with only 2 defenders accounting for 3 receivers. Either we weren't supposed to have a blitz off that side, or Sam O was supposed to peel off. Without knowing exactly what Saleh wanted here, I can't be certain of who it was, but it's not supposed to be like this. On offense, we were able to respond, and the offense starts with and runs through Christian McCaffrey. CMC is making a legitimate case for MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and most definitely Comeback Player of the Year, and I'll show the thread throughout the game. Here we're trying to go hard run action, then hit a dagger concept, which is a through route, which will aim for the deep safety, then cross his face across the field to clear it out, then pair it with a deep in, or what Kyle calls a Dover route. You can see out of the run action fake, the underneath coverage gains a lot of depth, taking away the lane to the Dover, and so Mac is able to check it down to McCaffrey, who still gets a first down. Next, we come with our crack toss. We'll crack on the edge, and one thing we've done more this year is instead of pulling Trent Williams to lead around, we'll have him work straight to the second level. The line does a nice job with both Williams and Hennessy getting to the second level and picking up the linebackers, and Juice gets a kick out on the corner, and they get a nice lane for McCaffrey to hit. Next, we get CMC a touchdown off a play we've used for a number of years and pull this out every once in a while. The Giants are running man coverage with bracket coverage for back out on McCaffrey, so they can play him both inside and out. We're in a 3-by-1 formation with Kittle the lone man to the right, with CMC offset in the shotgun. We'll then run 3 routes at 3 different levels for complete interference to get McCaffrey free out to the left. And you can see McCaffrey's man gets picked in the traffic, and we get him in for a touchdown. Back on defense, one thing the 49ers did a much better job of in this game was making solid tackles and reducing the amount of yards after contact and after the catch. We also got to see some fireworks between Deommodore Lenoir and Ray McLeod, who've had a public spat on social media. The Giants are trying to run a bubble screen here, and McLeod is trying to block Lenoir, and Demo is just too physical for him and makes the disruption that leads to a stop, and Demo made sure McLeod heard about it. Back on offense, we get a big run again off another crack toss, and even without getting a great crack block, George Kittle shows why he's the best blocking tight end in the NFL as he gets up on a linebacker, and this is textbook displacement blocking in space. So next we're going to run a sail concept, which is a go route, paired with a deep out or flag route, and a flat route. The Giants are in cover 3 zone. And you can see out of the play fake, the curl flat player flat foots in his drop, having to account for Christian McCaffrey, and it opens up Bourne on his flag route for a big gain. Then we get a touchdown, and this is set up by the previous touchdown to McCaffrey. So we start out in a 3-by-1 with Kittle, the lone player to the right, with CMC offset in the shotgun. Then we bring Robinson in motion, and note how there's no movement, yet the Giants are playing man coverage. They're now making sure their linebackers are playing wider so they can't get picked, and are still going to be in bracket coverage on McCaffrey. So we'll now run Jennings on a now return route and Kittle on a through route. Both of these stress the leverage of man coverage defenders who have a single inside help defender. That means they have to play outside leverage. So a return route that breaks in and then out stresses a defender away from their leverage where they have to attack harder, and then it breaks back out, and then the through route will play into where a man defender is trying to funnel their man to the middle inside help, but will then cross the face of the middle help. And the result is Jennings being wide open for a touchdown. Back on defense, we see an improved pass rush that does help a young defense learning this Saleh system that many of these players have never been coached by Saleh. We're in cover 4 and the Giants are running a couple deep crossing routes. We get good initial depth, but Jair Brown is supposed to hand off a crossing route to Mustafa and pick up the other. Instead, they both take the same crossing route. But the pressure by Sam O got Dart to throw it early to his check down, and we came up and made a nice tackle, and it's plays like this that helped get the defense off the field by not allowing a chunk gain on first down. They get a run stop on second down, and then the Giants get 2 false start penalties and can't convert on third and long, so it was all set up by the first down pressure. I want to take a quick break and thank all the members of JFA49.com. You are truly the reason these videos are possible. We've had a good response this season, adding another few members last week. As many of you know, because of circumstances out of my control, these videos are becoming nearly impossible to monetize. I'm not doing anything illegal, this is fair use copyright exception, but the YouTube process makes these videos impossible to really monetize. It's the coaching staff of JFA49.com that funds these weekly productions. We're about 60% of the way to the goal to just offset what's been lost. If you like the channel and the production quality of the videos just like this, please consider becoming a member of our coaching staff at JFA49.com or our Patreon, with tiers starting at $2 a month to $15 a month. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the film. Next, we get a sack on Dart, and this starts with good coverage. The Giants are trying to get us with a man beater where they'll run a spot route for interference on a rail route, but Mustafa sniffs it out and Dart has to move on. When he looks backside, he sees 2 underneath defenders sitting underneath 2 in routes. And from here, this is a great job keeping strong effort throughout the play to finish a sack on Dart. Then you'll see again they force a throw underneath and come up and make solid tackles short of the line to gain. Back on offense, a play that got overlooked was this one. After a sack, the team was out of field goal range, but this is just nice execution of a simple play. It's basically a middle screen where you use the other 4 eligible receivers as screen blockers in the middle for CMC, and you get enough for Pinheiro to get the field goal. Back on offense, the biggest mistake of the day was a lost fumble for Mac Jones. This is one Mac might want to have made this throw a tad sooner, and also the protection needs to hold up half a second longer. One play we run a lot of is called a basic concept. You pair a basic route with a rail route. And you can see Mac wants to go to the rail route, and it was there for a huge gain, but Mac hangs on it just a tad too long and the protection doesn't hold up quite long enough. Back on defense, I do want to highlight Tatum Bethune. The young man is improving and has had huge shoes to fill in replacing a future Hall of Famer in Fred Warner, but he's improving sometimes even from drive to drive. Here, the Giants are coming with an attack concept. It's centered around an attack route that will look to attack the middle of the field against Tampa 2, which is what we're going to be in, sit down and work away from the mic. Bethune does play it well, and this is really offensive PI, and the tight coverage does still force a dropped pass. On the next drive, the Giants are down in 49ers territory on third down, and they're going after Bethune again with another attack route. This time, he's ready for it and plays it really well and breaks up the pass. That's really impressive from the young man. Back on offense, we'll again see how CMC really makes this offense go. It's third down and we're running a pull concept, which is a pull basic paired with a pull route. That side of the field, New York is in cover 2 and it'll work to put a hook defender in a vertical stretch. As CMC comes out of the backfield, you'll see both underneath defenders are locked in on McCaffrey, and it opens up a void to Kittle, who makes a great catch on a bang-bang play. Next, New York is showing zone pre-snap, and we bring CMC in motion, and you'll see both linebackers shift as they're changing their zones to leverage over McCaffrey, and Jones sees it and is just going to take the freebie to Farrell right after the snap for 10 yards and another first down. Next, we're coming back to this basic concept again, and Jones does hit Robinson because he breaks open right away, but I do think he'd like this one back because, again, we had the rail route wide open for a touchdown, and this drive did end in a field goal. Back on defense, we did give up a long drive, but we were able to hold the Giants out of the end zone, and this is a really nice play by Malik Mustafa. They're trying to run an interference route on Mustafa to get the running back in the flat, but Mustafa sniffs it out and works over the interference. Also a good job by Stout to get physical and make it a little easier for Mustafa to avoid the interference, and then Malik goes and makes a great tackle in space on third down. Then back on offense, we've been running the ball well, drop back passing, and CMC has been making it go, so now you have a play action to suck up the under coverage and hit Bourne on a drift route. This looks like 49ers football. Then we get an explosive by Brian Robinson for a touchdown. I've been critical of our wide receiver core for their run blocking much of the year, but DeMarcus Robinson does a fantastic job on this play. It's an inside zone and Robinson has an insert block on the safety. And he's the one who makes the key block, along with Robinson running angry against a corner to go get the touchdown. Back on offense again, we're going to get an explosive to CMC, but I want to show how it was set up. It's 1st and 10 and we come out in 22 personnel with 2 backs and 2 tight ends, and it's over halfway through the 4th quarter. In response, New York comes out with 6 defensive linemen with 4 defensive tackles and Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau as edge players, and we get a 1-yard run. So on 2nd and 9, we stay in the same personnel, and the Giants stay in the same personnel. So now we're going to run 2 short in routes to run interference and stress a player like Brian Burns in coverage, and Burns doesn't pick up McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, and he's wide open for a huge gain. Then we get another touchdown with McCaffrey, and this is just putting New York's second-level defenders in a blender. It's an inside zone, but you're going to get the jet sweep action by Bourne, the split flow action by Kittle, and CMC is running down the middle of it, and you can see all the second-level defenders are just frozen trying to figure out where the play is going, and they're not able to fill, and McCaffrey gets in for the score. Overall, it was a good win, even though it was overshadowed by the loss of Micah Williams for the season with a torn MCL and meniscus, which is just brutal for the team and such a young player. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the notifications button to be alerted to when a video goes live. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.